1 year ago, I sat down and watched WrestleMania for the very first time. It was my first real exposure to WWE, my first exposure to anything wrestling related, and I was immediately enamored. And then I sat down with a big B painted on the middle of my face and a belt over my shoulder, and I filmed what I thought was just going to be a little video for me and my friends to laugh about later. What I did not predict was that the wrestling community would find me, would take me under their wing, and would welcome me into the community with open arms. It has been a wild year. I have been on podcasts, I've gone to live shows, and I have watched so much wrestling. Comparatively, it's not as much as the rest of you guys because I can't keep up with everything. There's AEW, there's NXT, there's TNA, there's so much out there, and I just have not even scratched the surface. But for me, for something I had never watched before, I have been really keeping up with so much wrestling. And I have more about that experience, about the year. I have some reflection. But first, because it is right now as I'm filming this Saturday, it is the first day of WrestleMania 41, I want to talk about that. And I thought a fun thing to do now that I have a year under my belt would be to film my predictions right before I watch it. And then I'm going to film my reaction to WrestleMania 41 and we'll talk about it that way. But I really don't feel like I can film this all on my own, you know? There is somebody who is desperately trying to make her return to the ring, and I would be remiss to keep her in the shadows, to keep her from coming back out after a year of being in hiding. So, you know, let's welcome her back in, shall we?
And now, entering the ring, the former World Heavyweight Champion, Breezeby!
Thank you so much for welcoming me back. After a year of being gone, I am here to kick ass and talk about WrestleMania. And I'm all out of ass. Now, you may notice that I am without my belt, my championship belt. And that is because, did you know that when you disappear for a year, they just take away your championship? Ugh. Seriously, though, it is wonderful to be sitting here with a B on my face, a full year after starting my wrestling journey. And before we get into Mania, you know, let's just take a little trip down memory lane from the girl last year who had just watched her very first wrestling event ever. Very strong looking. I think her whole thing is being Irish. I think that's her bit. She's Irish. Rhea is a part of one of the WWE factions, okay? I learned that there are factions. And she is part of the evil one. And the name of that one is... Fuck. I can't remember what they signify. One was like Raw, maybe, which is a different thing. And the other was like something else. This fucking guy, who's Paul Heyman, I guess? And Andrade. Seth freaking Rollins. Bloodlines is Bloodlines, the bloodline. You know, we've really come a long way. I am now very confident that Becky Lynch is married to Seth Rollins. I say Seth Rollins now instead of Rollins. You can all celebrate that a little bit. I know how to pronounce Andrade, so that's good too. I know the full importance of Paul Heyman, and you know, I still love Rhea Ripley more than anything. But now let us focus on WrestleMania 41. So Brie, go ahead and kick it off with your first prediction. World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther versus Jey Uso. I love Gunther. I think he holds the title well. I think he's great for the company and he's like such a strong character, but I do think Jey takes this one. I think the fact that they added Jimmy to this and they really pushed that revenge plot, I feel like that is going to play really nicely into this, and that's kind of the angle that this feud needed. Jey has really grown on me over the last year. I think last year when I saw him and I was like, Yeet? Like, is Yeet still a thing? That's really his gimmick. I was not completely sold. It was good to see him a little bit more serious, but in true form. He came out through the crowd, which was really great. I think everyone was really hype about that. Great to see Jey win with the submission. I think that was kind of an interesting thing. We've seen Gunther submit a whole lot of people this year. And so to see Jey do that was really nice. I think Gunther tapped a little sooner than I expected. I definitely thought there was going to be a little bit longer of a struggle, and I'm not sure if it was just supposed to be that divisive and that quick. but he did seem to go down pretty easily for Gunther, which I thought was interesting. It was a great match. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty solid start to the show. I think it was hype enough as to where people were ready to see what was next. And then you got Jimmy coming into the ring and hugging his brother, and that was just feel good moment. I love that they are finally back together because, of course, the last time we talked like this, I talked as Breeze B, they had just fought each other. So kind of a wonderful end to the story arc to see them in the ring hugging again. I really enjoyed this match. Okay, War Raiders versus the New Day. I initially predicted this one to go to the New Day because I think it's been a little bit, they've been heels, but like not really in the forefront for a while. So I feel like this would be a fun thing. Give them the titles, continue to have them stir up beef with other people and just like be heely characters. So I think I'm predicting the New Day on this one. All right, so I was correct on this one. Yet again, the New Day took home the gold and ran with it. But before we get to that, I do have to mention, number one, New Day looking fire. We love the new getup they've got going on. Xavier's hair was awesome. The unicorns on the back. I just love their whole deal right now, and I love that they're heels. I think this is super fun for them. The War Raiders. I know now what they were going for because they had this thing with Clash of Clans, but when they first came out, we were like, did they get their costumes at Spirit Halloween? Like, are they low on budget? Like, what's going on? But as it came out, they were doing like a sponsorship with Clash of Clans. There were a lot of sponsorships, and maybe there always are, but like it was so much more noticeable this WrestleMania than I feel like it was last WrestleMania, and I don't know why, if maybe that's just my perception because I'm tuned into more things than I was last time, but it was fun nonetheless. Okay, it was a great match. I really enjoy watching the War Raiders. Ivar is a big man. I mean, they're both big men, but to watch him get on the top rope and just do the things he does, I will always enjoy watching him, and both of them really. There was one scary moment where he almost didn't make his backflip, and I'm glad he did. I'm glad nothing happened, but there was a small slip that could have been way worse than it was. And I love that when the New Day won, they just took the belts and booked it up the ramp. I'm glad they've got gold so that they can just be even more heely and evil. Jade and Naomi. I had a tough time figuring out what this match was going to look like to make it the most interesting. I think my favorite thing about wrestling and learning about wrestling in the last year is like it doesn't matter who is perceived as the strongest, the most athletic, etc. This is about what's going to make for good story, and I think that's what makes it so much fun to predict, oh, this would be really cool, and all the conspiracy theories, like such a unique thing to wrestling, and I think that's fun. So I can't figure out what is going to be the best story for this match. I think this heel character that Naomi is playing up is so good. I think this is just the beginning. I hope it's just the beginning because she's doing really interesting stuff and she's great and she looks great. I think my gut is telling me that she loses. I could see Jade winning and still deciding to go after Bianca because I'm not really sure I don't know where Jade goes if she loses this one. So as much as I would like to see Naomi win, I don't think her character is done if she loses, so I am predicting that Jade will win this one. All right, Jade and Naomi. I hated being right about this one because I am living for Naomi right now. I'm happy Jade won, I think it was a good like revenge story, whatever. I'm thinking we're not done with Naomi in the state that she's in. Her new entrance, her new music, her new look, everything. She is a fantastic heel, and I am loving seeing everything that she's going through right now. Jade looked strong as always. I think it was overall a pretty good match. It was not the most memorable that night for me, but it was good. I think something that made us nervous is that there were some wardrobe malfunctions happening, and the camera angles were very careful after that. Props to the WWE. They're nothing but professionals, and they tried to keep it above here, but it made us a little extra nervous for the match. It was less of, is she going to get hurt, and more of, we really hope that her top stays on properly. Also, I would be remiss to not mention Jade's entrance, the weatherman thing. I don't know who that guy was. If somebody knows, tell me in the comments. I don't know if he was like a local weatherman or he was someone related to wrestling. It made me laugh. It was funny. I don't know if it took away from the like seriousness of her entire entrance. But it made me laugh. It was silly. Great job to Jade Cargill. Great job to Naomi. I can't wait to see where this goes. I think we're about to get Bianca back involved, so that'll be really fun. Okay, United States Championship, Jacob Fatu and LA Knight. I saw the theory going around that Solo cost Jacob the title. I don't know if that happens. There is tension between them for sure, but I don't know if that necessarily, like, they were working pretty well together last night. So I could see where that's going. If that's not where it's going, I predict that Jacob takes the title. Maybe this isn't the time. I don't know. This one's a little unpredictable for me personally. So I'm going to predict some fuckery with Solo. And actually, maybe now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it's the fact that like Solo goes out and is like trying to help and that's the way. He doesn't purposefully do it, but he costs Jacob the title there. LA Knight retains. And then Jacob and Solo start their own. Like that's where the formal beef starts happening. So you know what? I'm going to change my answer. I think LA Knight retains because of Solo. It's not that Solo is costing him the title specifically because it's like malicious. I think it might be an accident. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. You know what? I love being wrong about this one. I did expect something with Solo, but I think that's coming later. And we got a new United States champion, and he deserves it, man. This was one of my favorite matches of the night. When I think back to the weekend as a whole, this was such a clean match. These two look so good with each other. It is funny to see Jacob Fatu, again, another really big dude who is doing all of these backflips and top rope things. And LA Knight is just like a superstar in his own right. So to see Jacob win it, I'm happy to be wrong because I thought that maybe he'd get screwed over, but to see him win it on the big stage like this, 10 out of 10, like very happy for him. They both did a phenomenal job. We only saw a little bit of LA Knight's side sack, which has become a running joke in our group. My dude's got to layer it up or he's got to get bigger pants. I don't know. This was probably the first match where we were really like on the edge of our seats the whole time and just made for really good wrestling. I'm actually glad that Solo did not interfere because I thought this match stood alone really nicely by itself. So this was good. Okay, as of right now filming this, Rey Mysterio I don't think has been counted out for this, but last night on SmackDown, apparently Rey Mysterio was injured. So we have Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano. I don't know. I think that Rey wins. If Rey is still competing, Rey wins. I think they finally unmask Chad Gable, El Grande Americano. A hilarious twist would be if they unmasked him and it's not Chad Gable. If Rey does not end up competing, I'm assuming they would have, I don't know if they'd have Rey Fenix take his place. I could see it probably being somebody else in the LWO. I don't know if it would be Rey Fenix. He's still very new, and I don't know if they would just hand that to him, but maybe. I'd be curious to see. From what I've seen, though, Rey is still supposed to compete, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, so what was supposed to be El Grande Americano and Rey Mysterio, I was wrong on both accounts. We did not get Rey Mysterio. When I filmed that prediction, it still had not come out that Rey was not going to be competing. And instead, we got Rey Fenix, which I thought was awesome. I actually expected it to be somebody else in the LWO, but it was great to see that Rey Fenix got his moment to shine after being in the WWE for like a month. He's only had a couple of matches so far, and then right on the big stage. But honestly, he killed it. This match was super, super fun to watch. Lucha wrestling has become some of my favorite wrestling to watch. I don't think I've seen one luchador so far that I don't enjoy watching. They are just so entertaining, just high flying, fast paced. The things they do are absolutely amazing. And I mean, Penta is one of my favorites now, very quickly one of my favorites. And he was when I started watching some of the Lucha Underground. So I knew I was going to like Penta, but Rey Fenix as well. So good. And I am very excited to see if Rey and Penta go and team up again on our tag team. And I want to see where that goes. But I do want to give props to El Grande Americano here. He keeps up with the best of them. I'm sure that's part of why WWE was like, you know what, we're going to have you involved in all of this lucha stuff. He's a fantastic wrestler. And even as, I'm not saying he's Chad Gable, but if he was Chad Gable is also a phenomenal wrestler. I really thought he was going to be unmasked, but no, we're saving that for another night. I think Rey Mysterio would have killed this match too, and I'm sorry he didn't get to, but congrats to Rey Fenix because that was one hell of a show. Okay, the WWE Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton. Yeah. I think Tiffany retains this one. I think it's still Tiffy time. I don't know where Tiffy would go if she lost. I think they would find a place for her, but I think it, to me, makes more sense if she retains, starts some other beef. And then they've kind of hinted at like Jade, Cargill, and Charlotte maybe having beef would be interesting. I gotta stop saying beef. We gotta have another word. A feud, if you will. Anyway, I think Tiffy retains this one. This match was brutal. I think it needed to be brutal. I think that everyone was looking for this to be an all-out brawl. I think there was the expectation that there would be blood, and oh honey, was there ever. Tiffany Stratton, she earned that retain. First of all, her entrance was phenomenal. The Barbie entrance, I think that might have been one of my favorite entrances of the entire weekend. It was so her, it was so creative and fun, and to see her walk out of that Barbie box and just march to the ring with her title, I love that. That was the perfect entrance for her. Everyone at this point, I think, has seen the chipped teeth. We were taken aback by that, and I don't know if it was the kick or if it was something else that clocked her, but they fixed her teeth pretty fast. And I'm glad I was right about this one. I do think she well deserved that and earned it. I'm not sure where Charlotte goes at this point. Maybe she starts feuding with Jade. I'm sure they will stick her somewhere else, and she'll pick up something somewhere. But good to see Tiffany retain. I'm looking forward to see where she goes, and so glad that she's okay. That her teeth got fixed real fast. Okay, the triple threat match: CM Punk, Seth Rollins, I say it right now, and Roman Reigns. This one's really tough. I'm not confident in my prediction whatsoever. I love the theory going around that Seth has either sold his soul to The Rock. There are a lot of parallels happening with his clothing and like a lot of talk of what's best for business. He's made sacrifices and they've never paid off and he's always been here, blah, blah, blah. Like I could see that happening. Or he just kind of turns heel in his own right, in his own way, and does something really like dirty, dastardly, whatever. There's some theories that Paul Heyman is involved with this somehow, and that he is now, like, Paul Heyman's now going to be Seth's guy, which I think is very interesting. I think my heart says I want CM Punk to win, and that it would be like this very, like, the crowd would go absolutely nuts for that. So it's either Seth wins because of Healy stuff, or CM Punk wins, and it starts this story arc of Seth absolutely losing his mind and then buying into either The Rock or, there's something there. There's something there with Seth, and I'm super excited to watch him just get pushed into this whatever territory we're in. So can't decide. It's Seth or CM Punk. It's not Roman, and that's all I can say. Ooh, this was a great match. Seth had my favorite entrance of the whole night. Seth coming out with a flamethrower and then everything going black and him coming out and just being all dressed in white with all of those lights on him, and this just like Messiah moment was so good. It was exactly the pomp and circumstance that I think that match needed. And then you got CM Punk coming out with live music too, which was amazing. But yeah, this match was everything I had hoped for wrestling wise and story wise. I knew Seth was going to turn heel or have some sort of betrayal happening at some point. I don't think I thought it was directly going to be Paul Heyman. The betrayal to both CM Punk and Roman Reigns was so good. That was probably story-wise the highlight of the weekend for me. And watching Seth take the chair and walk out of the ring with both the chair and Paul Heyman. Oh, it was so good. I saw some meme right after that match that made me laugh that was like, only in wrestling do we get a match where the winner takes a small balding man home as the trophy. I am so looking forward to seeing where this takes Seth. He has been, to me, like an A-tier. He's an S-tier wrestler, but in my head, he was not. I think the term is over. I feel like I've been picking that one up recently of like he was not being put over. Is that what it is? He just wasn't like always on top. He wasn't on the forefront, and I think this is his year, and I am super excited to see that because I love his promos. I think he's a fantastic wrestler. I just want to see where it goes. So where does this leave Punk and Roman? I don't know, but this is going to be a very juicy couple of months after this whole fallout. So I'm excited to see where it goes. All right, triple threat WWE Women's World Championship. Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. As much as I hate to admit, this one's not going to Rhea. I don't think she gets her title back. I think there's something else planned for her. She can go anywhere. Bianca is who I thought was going to win initially. Like a couple of weeks ago when this all started to transpire, my friends and I were talking. We're like, it's probably Bianca, right? But I think either Jade or Naomi cost her this title, and I think Io retains. They've been doing way too much pushing Io to the side, getting her out of the way, so I think she retains and continues to hold the title, and then Bianca and Rhea either start going at it. You've got Jade and Naomi, so Bianca's kind of in a good spot to be feuding with anybody right now. Here's my dream, okay, is that somewhere in here Asuka returns. I don't know if she will. I haven't seen any hints about her returning at any point, but my dream is that Asuka returns sometime this weekend. I will be thrilled. Okay, night 2. I was so happy to be right about this one too. This was probably wrestling-wise my match of the weekend. I've been seeing a lot of people saying the same thing. Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley continue to deliver every single time. I thought it was interesting that Io came out first, being the one who holds the belt. I don't know if that was an extra layer of like disrespect for Io or what, but it was good to see her after weeks of being pushed aside to actually retain this one, and I am so excited to see her just move forward. Rhea's entrance, a year has not made a difference in how often I love seeing her come into the ring and just the energy and the pop that she elicits every time is incredible. I thought maybe we would get Asuka or Jade or Naomi. I thought we were going to get more interference. There were very few, if any, interferences. I think there was just the one for Logan Paul, which we'll talk about. It was just them, and you know what? They didn't need an interference to make that match interesting. It was so fire all on its own. So amazing match. My match of the weekend. Oh, the Sin City Street Fight, Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. It's no secret I'm a Damian Priest kind of girly, obviously. I love my terror twins, Rhea Ripley and Damian. That was a high moment for me in wrestling. I have bet against Damian before, trying to just like, we play a game when we watch PLEs where like we get points if we correctly guess who it is that's going to win. And I've lost points before betting against Damian when in my heart, I wanted to bet for him. My brain says Drew, but my heart hates to bet against Damian. So I am going to say Damian wins this one. All right, so this one I guessed wrong, and I knew it was going to be wrong. I can't remember if I said that in my prediction where I was like, man, I think Drew's going to win, but I got to go with my boy. This was a great match. I actually expected this one to be a little more hardcore, considering it's a street fight. There were chairs and tables, and I think the table spots that happened were great. The taking the selfie in the middle of the match, hilarious. They both they brought it. I thought it was going to be longer and a little bit bloodier. I'm glad it wasn't bloody. I don't love seeing people bloodied up and getting hurt. I don't know where this puts Damian, and I don't know where it would have put him if he won either. So truly, this storyline is now put to rest, and I'm interested to see what WWE will see or will do with the both of them. So it was a good match. Oh, the Fatal 4-Way, the Intercontinental Championship. So we've got Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, Braun Breaker, and Penta. This one I am so confident. I've said this on social media before. I am 100% confident. I love the theory that Dominic is going to win this. I think the Judgment Day is about to implode. He's going to have a little feud going with Finn for a while. I think the most interesting part will be if he pins Finn, which I think he does, or if he just like happens to win because everybody, you know how it happens in wrestling. It'll also be interesting to see if Dom then takes control of the Judgment Day, or they just kick Finn out, or if the Judgment Day ceases to exist, which I doubt. I doubt that, but I think Dom wins. This was my most exciting match of the night. I cannot describe to you how excited I am about how this all played out. Dom is a killer heel, and he really, I think he'll stay a heel, but for that one moment, he got the babyface reaction. Like everybody in that arena, I don't know about everyone watching, but all of us that were watching were just so thrilled for him, and to see him leave the ring and run back into the ring with the title in his hand and get that huge crowd cheer. Dom deserves that. I don't think anyone would argue that he is like the most athletic or impressive in the ring, but that man keeps it kayfabe 100% of the time. He is hilarious. He is good at what he does. He knows his character and he plays it well. And I don't think I see him holding the title for a super long time, maybe until Backlash, I'm not sure. But it was great to see this, and my serotonin for the day has been to go through my Instagram reels and to watch just the excitement on his face and for everybody else. So I love this match. It was great. And I would be remiss to not talk about the 15-foot spear across the table from Carlito, who has been speared more times by Braun Breaker in the last 2 weeks than anybody in the last couple of months. So yeah, that was a pretty sick spot. And this match was just everything I would want out of these particular wrestlers. It was great. All right, so I realized a little too late that I didn't have Randy's match written down because things were still in flux by the time I started making my WrestleMania document, if you will. So I never had a prediction for this, but I do have, here, I can put it here or something. Here was my prediction board. And I thought it was going to be Nick Aldis because I'm not creative and I didn't have anyone else in mind. And he had RKO'd him a couple times. So I was like, maybe that would happen. But Josh called it. It was Joe Hendry. And you know what? This match was not the murder of Kevin Owens that we thought maybe it would be. We weren't getting full Randy Orton like the Viper. This was the levity match for me personally. And to see the current TNA champion and to hear the crowd pop and after the year he's had, honestly, he deserves it. Okay. This was funny. It was fun. I know there are some people that were like, this wasn't serious. And I'm like, baby, wrestling's not that serious. If I've learned anything over the last year, it is that it can be serious and it also can't be. And these are the moments that are some of my favorites to watch. So to have this be an appropriately short match, I think, Randy didn't look bad by any means. He got his RKOs in. We got the pop for say his name and he appears. And this was just a silly little match. And I loved it. This was the levity of the night and I thought it was great. Okay, I haven't been keeping the closest tabs on this rivalry, but as much as I don't want him to, I do think Logan Paul wins this one. I feel like there's still some Karrion Kross stuff happening. He's been doing a lot of Instagram reel promotions about I'm in Las Vegas. I'm not even in WrestleMania. So I don't know if he gets involved in the match or something there happens. I don't know if he's at least going to be ringside and that costs him the match, or I don't know if he and AJ suddenly have a thing because they're going to team up against Logan. Anyway, I think Logan Paul wins this one. I hate to be right about this one, but yes, Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. We did get Logan with the win. This was a good match. I know that I had, over the last year, I have not respected AJ Styles in the way that I think people would like me to. Not that I've never liked him. I have, but he never stood out in my head. And I know he's a lot of people's favorites. And the more I see him wrestle, the more I'm like, yeah, AJ Styles is, he's it. So I am now an AJ fan, and I really do admire the pace at which he still wrestles after being in the business for so long. He is truly amazing. And honestly, like, Logan keeps up. Logan, I said it last year and I'll say it this year. He's a good heel. He's not one like Dominic where I love to hate him, but you gotta give him his flowers. Like, he kept up in that match, and he delivers every time. So, well, maybe not every time. I don't know. We got to see Karrion Kross a little bit. I hope this goes somewhere for Karrion. I am a big Karrion girly at this point, so would love to see him more, and maybe this tips something off with he and AJ or Logan, or who knows where he goes. But yeah, this was a good match. Women's Tag Team Championship, we have Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez and Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. I'm not super invested in this one. I do think that Liv and Raquel retain because I don't see them keeping Bayley and Lyra as a tag team, but I could be totally wrong on this. So my vote is that Liv and Raquel retain. Okay, the Women's Tag Championship. This one I got wrong in all respects because at the time I made that prediction and Bayley was not out. I don't believe Bayley was out. I actually had not seen Becky wrestle since WrestleMania 40. And so this full year of not having her back and knowing how much people love her and what an influential women's wrestler she is, to see her come in, it was great. So I did not see her coming back, and I 100% did not see them winning this. I thought for sure that if there was a replacement, or, you know, even if there was just Bayley, they weren't going to keep Lyra in a tag team by any means. So I have to imagine what they're doing now is that someone's going to go after Lyra's title, and then she'll keep the tag with Becky for a little bit. So that should be interesting. But I did see that Lyra grew up watching and admiring Becky, and to have her as a tag partner sounds just like a dream come true. So congratulations to the both of them. I still think Liv and Raquel will move on to do cool things. Congrats to all involved. Last but especially not least, we have the undisputed WWE Championship, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. This one we've all been kind of sure of for a while. We think John Cena will win the title. This may work into Seth Rollins selling his soul to The Rock. I don't know. I feel like The Rock has at least one more person in his back pocket, and he is not going to let John Cena lose. I do think The Rock gets involved with this match somehow. I can't imagine the main event of the last night. I don't see him not showing up. If it's anything like last year's, it is going to be a wild ride, and I am so excited. I hope it does not disappoint. Oh. Okay, let's start from the beginning for a second. John Cena comes out, and it's got to be the funniest entrance I've seen, because it was just black and white text, just John Cena. Like, they put the Arial bold font in there, and they said ship it. And I love what it's going for. John Cena said he's not giving the crowd anything. They don't get anything anymore. This was a good entrance for John after all of this talk and all of this audience hate. He's really playing this part of the heel up, and I thought that was great. And then for Cody to come out and to have that sick mask, the Iron Man thing where it just kind of lifts up, that was really, really cool. And then the match itself was good. It was a little bit slow to start, which I think was intentional. But I thought it was going to last like way, way longer. That last moment where Cody is pinned and he's out, I thought he was going to kick out. And I think a lot of people thought he was going to kick out. And that was why the audience reaction, I mean, they were still like super into it, but I think it was just a shock because we were like, oh my gosh, it's over. And don't get me wrong, like, of course I don't have the nostalgia of like having John Cena as my childhood hero, but I do think he deserves that 17th championship. Like, I think him breaking the record as a heel is a phenomenal thing. I think it was the right thing to do, but man, it was a weird match, and it felt a little anticlimactic. And maybe I had just made up a whole bunch of what ifs in my head, and I had this idea of like what WrestleMania was back last year, which there was a lot of pomp and circumstance, a lot of interference. There was just so much hype. And I know it's because it was like a decade, like anniversary. So I did get spoiled. But this main event to end everything felt very strange, especially, and I'm sorry, I don't know what Travis Scott is doing there. All respect to celebrities and whoever like wants to be a part of the story. I don't mind when celebrities are a part of it, but like it does feel strange. It was weird to have him come out and interrupt the match, and then it was over just like that. I expected at least we'd get like, okay, maybe Seth gets involved, right? Especially now that he's like in with Paul Heyman and he's been on this Best for Business thing. So like maybe we get Seth in there. And I thought maybe The Rock would be there, right? He started this whole thing. Surely he'll be there. But no, we didn't get any of that. I've seen a couple people say that like, whether they're joking or they're being serious, John Cena said he was going to ruin wrestling for everybody. And I think everyone kind of felt the same about this main event. They were like, ooh, this wasn't what I wanted. So like maybe John Cena is indeed ruining wrestling for people. I don't know. I have to imagine, and my friends have told me this multiple times, is like, they're gonna make you feel a certain way. Like when Roman won against Cody 39, I think it was, they wanted you to feel sad and disappointed and all of those emotions so they could hit you with the next storyline and really work it out. So I do think they have a plan. I'm just not sure if the way it was executed last night was, I don't know. I am looking forward to seeing how they played this off. Maybe I am too trusting after my year of watching WWE, but I would like to say they have a plan and that it's going to just blow our minds. But, you know, some of you are veterans. You might know otherwise, and you might think that that's not the case. So we'll see. So those were my predictions for WrestleMania. Let's see how many I got right. Ta-da! So what have I learned about wrestling over the last year? Well, number one, wrestling is real. It is real athleticism. It is real acting. It is real blood, sweat, and tears. It is real emotion. There is so much about wrestling that I did not understand prior to watching it. And it has become what I think is like the best kept secret that is right under everyone's nose. Unless you are in it, you really don't realize all of these things and how special it is. I think the most important thing I've learned about wrestling over the last year is that it is community. I have had the chance to meet so many amazing people in the wrestling community over the last year. It really started right after that WrestleMania 40 video went up and people found it and just started welcoming me and reaching out to me on my socials, and they were so willing to be like, hey, I want you to watch this match. This is my favorite match. And ooh, if you want to see this wrestler in their prime, like here's this match, and just sharing all of their favorite moments and memories and facts. And now that I'm in it, oh my God, I find myself doing the exact same thing. And what might be my favorite thing of all is that wrestling never stops. Like there's so much of it to consume, and it has given me something every month to enjoy with my friends. I know reliably that every month there's going to be a PLE, or we're going to sit down and watch SmackDown together or something that we can all get together and we can connect. And I have to give a special shout out to my friends, my IRL friends, if you will, who have been so patient and wonderful, because I know I am obnoxious. I am sure that when you've been enjoying something for literally your whole life and you've got a new person who is just like overwhelmingly exploding with like excitement and like doing all this extra stuff, I have to imagine that's probably a lot. And so for them to take my excitement and just like double it and welcome me the same way all of you have welcomed me, if not more, that has been so important to me. So thank you to my friends. I love you very much. And thank you to all of you for watching for the last year. I know many of you are here for wrestling. Many of you are now here for gaming. It has been a wild, wild ride for me, and I cannot thank you enough. So that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. If you would like to see more from me, I do have a second channel where I post my Twitch VODs and all of my gaming Let's Plays. It's Breezeby2. You can find that in the description. If you want to see any of my appearances on the Somewhere in the Ring podcast or any of the interviews I've done, I'll link those down below. You should absolutely go check out Somewhere in the Ring because I believe they're almost at 1,000 subscribers. So if you'd like to go subscribe, I'm sure they would love that. They do so much wrestling content and they're so good at it. And I'm hoping you will stay tuned because I do have a new video coming out in the next couple of weeks where I got to visit the Buffalo Wrestling Academy and I got in the ring very briefly. I got in the ring very briefly, and I'll let you in on a little secret here. I'll give you a preview of what that looks like.
This leg swinging
and
over this way.
it's going to turn you to face this way. And you're going to face me.
I assume you're not supposed to make noises like when you get up.
You're the one with the mic by your mouth.
So again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!